How far are you willing to go to correct a past mistake? The story of Batman and Flash revolves around the loss of their parents. Two orphans who became heroes, but only one of them could change what happened to their parents. Barry Allen traveled back in time to prevent his mother's death, unknowingly creating the destruction of the timeline. This chaos, called the Flashpoint Paradox, is what takes place in the next movie of the DC Universe. Today, the latest Flash trailer was released, where it reveals incredible things about Batman and about this movie in general. So in this video, we'll be discussing the highlights of this trailer. And if you like everything related to the DC Universe, don't forget to subscribe to this channel to see more videos of your favorite series and movies. Welcome to the Oasis Geek. The trailer begins with two versions of Barry Allen arriving at the Wayne Mansion. This mansion looks destroyed or abandoned, which means that Bruce is not living here, or is a Bruce who lives in a different way than we are used to in other movies. We can hear him mention that he lost his parents, and that pain led him to become who he is, while several scenes of Batman's cave are shown. Bruce says that he fought for many years, as if becoming Batman would bring his parents back. As he says this, we can see various Batman costumes in the Batcave being shown. Then Bruce says to Flash, "You really did it," referring to Barry changing the past. The problem with this is that by Barry avoiding his mother's death, he created a chain effect that affected the entire timeline. The first change we see is in the actor playing Batman. This is Michael Keaton, who played Batman in the past. This means that by Barry avoiding his mother's death, he created the timeline of the Batman movies we saw in 1989, and this is what makes DC special, that everything is connected. However, this version of Batman is apparently retired, and his mansion is abandoned, but Barry convinces him to come back and put on the suit. In the Flashpoint movie, the alternate Batman shown is Thomas Wayne, so we can rule out that we will see Thomas Wayne as Batman, and Bruce's mother as the Joker. This movie will show us an older Batman. We move on to a woman's voice mentioning that she can't imagine what Barry went through. He lost his two parents on the same day. We can see scenes where Barry is looking at his injured mother in the kitchen, while his father asks him to get help. There are several versions of the death of Flash's mother, but the most common is caused by Reverse Flash, who travels back in time to kill Barry when he was just a child, but ends up taking the life of his mother, causing the emergence of the Flash himself, creating a temporal paradox where the villain creates the hero, and then the hero creates the villain. We move on to a scene where Barry says he traveled back in time to save his parents, but destroyed the universe. The reason Barry lost his father is because his father was blamed for his mother's death, although it was really Reverse Flash who killed her. No one believed Barry that something supernatural happened that day, and it's the reason why he travels to the past. We get to see several scenes of Zod, a villain that Superman destroyed but because of Barry is now back, and other scenes of Supergirl interrogating Barry. In this alternate version, it is Supergirl who was sent to Earth, and it is unknown what happened to Superman. Possibly this is the reason why Zod is still alive, as planet Earth only has Supergirl, who was imprisoned underground. We also see several scenes where the former Batman is fighting alongside both Flash and Supergirl against Zod. Now, I have the impression that this second Barry Allen could be Reverse Flash or an evil version of the Flash himself, but this is a topic for another video. We transition to a scene where Barry is with the Speed Force in the dining room of his home, as he says he must reverse what he did. Possibly this occurs at the end of the film, when Barry must let his mother lose her life to save the planet. We also hear a familiar voice, Ben Affleck's Batman, which says, "Scars are what make us who we are, we shouldn't change them." This scene could happen at the beginning of the movie. Remember that at the end of Justice League, Flash traveled back in time and reversed the destruction of the planet. possibly Batman is talking about this event, as Flash can now time travel, and Batman is trying to warn him that if he changes anything from the past, he could stop being who he is. Something that obviously happens. Barry changes everything, and the destruction of the Earth comes, but in a different way. In the animated movie, as Flash avoids the death of his mother, he never becomes a hero, and this causes the end of the world, as Flash was never part of the Justice League, and the planet is in some kind of apocalypse. In the Batman v Superman movie, we saw scenes of an evil Superman that could belong to a third timeline, but perhaps we won't see in the future. What is clear is that Barry complicated everything. We can see Supergirl screaming, questioning what Flash did. Although she could be referring to that alternate version, which I suspect is the actual villain in the movie. Supergirl fights with Zod as Flash tries to reboot his powers, something we saw in the animated movie. And we see how the second Flash is fighting with the main Flash, or at least showing their differences. In the last scenes we see how Batman jumps out of his bat plane, while multiple superhero logos are shown. Now, this trailer is filled with a lot of emotions, but it does reveal how the story of the movie will be. I think the story will be about how Barry gets stuck without powers in the past after avoiding his mother's death, but for some reason, he will find an alternate version of himself. He then realizes the planet is at risk of being destroyed, and seeks Batman's help, only to realize that this is a much more grown-up version of the one he's already known. Batman will help him reboot his powers, and together they will fight the threat of Zod, not before trying to find Superman, but they find Supergirl instead. After the fight with Zod, Barry understands that he must let his mother die, but possibly the second Flash wants to keep her alive, and here the conflict between both characters will occur. It is possible that this movie may even reveal that it's Barry himself who must take the life of his mother to save humanity, as we see no hints of Reverse Flash, unless it is this double that Barry is with. This will be the movie that will change everything in the DC universe, and hopefully it will be full of many more surprises. I was surprised to see Ben Affleck's Batman in the trailer, as I thought this would be saved for the movie, but maybe we're still in for more cameos. But tell me, what are your thoughts on the Flash trailer? Is it what you expected? And for more videos of your favorite series and movies, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. You're on the Oasis Geek.